Well, my friends, Joe Biden is doing it. Joe Biden will be canceling up to $20,000 in student loan debt for those making under $125,000. It'll be $10,000 for most folks, but there's a Pell Grant element to it, which could raise that to $20,000. We're going to look at the details. And I have to tell you, producer Pat was completely correct in his prediction. Producer Pat has been predicting on the award-winning bonus show that at a time advantageous to Democrats for the midterm elections, Joe Biden would do some larger student loan forgiveness than he has done so far. Now, remember that Joe Biden has already done, even before this, more student loan forgiveness than any other president. And we've covered that before. And Pat said it's going to be close-ish to the November midterms. Joe Biden's going to do something. And I just didn't think he was. And here we are. Producer Pat, completely correct. New York Times reporting, Biden to cancel $10,000 in student debt. Low-income students are eligible for more. The plan would be $10,000 in cancellation for those earning under $125,000 a year and $20,000 for those who received Pell Grants for low-income families. Now, the debt forgiveness is less than what some Democrats have been pushing for, and we will talk about that. Biden also announced that a pandemic-era pause on student loan payments, which has been in effect since March of 2020, will expire at the end of the year. There is not yet an application process. This has been a big question. Okay, so how do we get the forgiveness if we qualify? What's the process? That process has not yet been made specific. A couple of other important notes here. Students who receive Pell Grants will be able to get up to $20,000 in forgiveness. About 60% of borrowers have Pell Grants, and the majority come from families earning under $30,000 a year. The Education Department estimates 27 million borrowers will qualify for up to $20,000 in relief. Then you've got millions more who will be able to get the $10,000, and there are a number of other repayment modifications that are being made as well. So let's go through some of the different reactions to this, and then we're going to delve further into it. So one reaction is this is not enough. 10,000 is not enough. 20,000 is not enough. Fine. But this is already overwhelmingly more than any other president has done by far. So as I've said before, I tend to evaluate presidents based on what they do, generally speaking, and also for things they promised to do but don't do. I think both are fair game. Just saying, well, this president's bad because he didn't do these 10 things that he never promised to do, that seems to be a way to end up with relatively meaningless evaluations of presidents. So when you look at what Joe Biden has done, he has by far forgiven more student debt than any other president. Counterpoint. Joe Biden's only doing this to help Democrats in November. Well, I mean, listen, everything politicians do to some degree is to help themselves. Is it also good for people? And the answer is this is very good for people. And there are also some new rules for income-based repayment plans, which are arguably as big of a deal as the forgiveness. Repayment will be capped at 5% of discretionary income rather than 10. That's a big source of relief. Your payments are zero if you are below 225% of the federal poverty line due to an increase in the non-discretionary fraction of income. Unpaid interest is waived as long as you're making monthly payments, even if the payments are zero based on those earlier guidelines that I mentioned. And that's really a game changer. Many people are much more able to pay off a debt if they're not accumulating and accruing more and more and more interest through the payment process. And that's a really big deal. And then forgiveness after 10 years on loans under $12,000 rather than only $20,000, which is another interesting provision. So there is a significant amount of relief here, in addition to the forgiveness component, for lower and middle income borrowers. And that's a really, really big deal. Now, one question is, what does this do in terms of Democrat chances going into the November midterms? As we have talked about before, Right now in the House of Representatives, in the Senate, the odds for Democrats have crept up from a 52% shot at holding the Senate to 55, high 50s, 60, and now 64%. Right now, the 538 estimate, the forecast is that Democrats have a 64% chance of retaining control of the Senate. We will see whether that number increases on the basis of this announcement from Joe Biden. In terms of the House of Representatives, well, Republicans are still favored to hold, but by a smaller margin than at any previous point during this cycle. Right now, Republicans are down to a 78% chance of taking the House of Representatives. Democrats at 22%. Still, the most likely outcome is Democrats keep the Senate, but lose the House. But the House numbers are looking, it's hard to call them good for Democrats, but they are looking the least bad that they have looked since we've started following this election cycle. So this is another major, major accomplishment by Joe Biden. Later on in the show, I am going to now compare and contrast the 180 that has taken place for the Biden administration, which is truly remarkable. I mean, if you look at the Biden administration 2 months ago and now, it is truly stunning, the change that we have seen. We're going to talk about that, and we're going to contrast that with what's going on the Republican side, including a growing civil war, wherein former President Donald Trump is calling for the removal of Mitch McConnell as the Senate minority leader. It could not be a greater contrast than what we are seeing. That'll come up a little bit later. The David Pakman Show's longest running sponsor is Blinkist, the app that takes thousands of nonfiction books, boils each of them down into an explainer you can read or listen to in 15 minutes. Blinkist also condenses episodes of popular podcasts into 15-minute explainers. I've been using Blinkist for years to supplement the books I read. I love reading. I read all the time. But there's even more books I don't have time to read, and you can often find those nonfiction books on Blinkist and consume the entire thing in 15 minutes. My favorite new feature on the app is Blinkist Connect, which lets you share your Blinkist premium account with someone else. You basically get 2 accounts for the price of one, and then you can also share Blinkist books and podcasts between users. I have a joint Blinkist premium account with my girlfriend. Blinkist Connect lets us sync together what books and podcasts we're listening to on Blinkist, sparks many interesting discussions. We just listened to Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power, the new version. Robert Greene, super interesting writer. Find his books fascinating. You can try Blinkist free for 7 days and get 25% off a premium subscription at Blinkist.com/David Pakman. The link is down below.